This is the Kraków city, is one of the largest cities in Poland. It is known primarily for its grand historic architecture and cultural leadership. UNESCO designated its Old Town area a World Heritage Site in 1978. Its marketplace, Rynok Main Square, has existed since the 13th century, and a modern landscaped area is laid out on the site of past fortifications. The historical center of Kraków was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site under Criterion 4 as an outstanding example of an urban and architectural complex. The Kraków Old Town is a unique treasury of works of arts, historical buildings, and historical souvenirs. The most important and the oldest of the Krakow's over 100 churches are located there, together with numerous mansions and tenements. Over 1,150 of Kraków historical monuments representing almost all periods and architectural styles from the Middle Ages until today have been entered into the Register of Historical Artifacts. Kraków is a city with a history of more than 1,000 years. The first written mention about Kraków dates back to 965 AD to a travel relation by Ibrahim, an Arab merchant. Legend has it that the name Kraków comes from the name of Prince Krak, who established his castle at Wall Hill towering over the city. For several centuries, Kraków was the capital of Poland, with the Wall Royal Castle playing the role of the seat of the monarchs of Poland until the end of the 16th century. Today, the castle is a museum establishment with 71 exhibition rooms, including the royal chambers, the treasury, and the armory. The castle cathedral saw 37 coronation ceremonies and holds the remains of Polish monarchs, heroes, and poets. Contemporary Kraków is the capital of the Malopolska region, a major cultural and academic center in Poland and an important European metropolis. It is one of the most recognizable Polish cities in the world and an important place on the tourist map of Europe, with over 8 million visitors from Poland and abroad every year. The historic center of Kraków, located on the river Vistula in southern Poland, is formed by three urban ensembles: the medieval chartered city of Kraków, the Wall Hill complex, and the town of Kazimierz, including the suburb of Stratum. It is one of the most outstanding examples of European urban planning, characterized by the harmonious development and accumulation of features representing all architectural styles from the early Romanesque to the modernist periods. The importance of the city, which was chartered in 1257 and was once the capital of Poland, is evidenced by its urban layout, its numerous churches and monasteries, its imposing public buildings, the remains of its medieval city walls, and its palaces and townhouses, many designed and built by prominent architects and craftspersons. The value of this urban complex is determined by the extraordinary density of monuments from various periods, preserved in their original forms and with their authentic fittings. Wall Hill, the dominant feature of the historic center of Kraków, is a former royal residence and necropolis attesting to the dynastic and political links of medieval and early modern Europe. The medieval town of Kazimierz, which includes the suburb of Stratum, chartered in 1335, was shaped by the Catholic and Jewish faiths and their respective cultures and customs. One of the largest administrative and commercial centers in Central Europe, Kraków was a city where arts and crafts flourished and the culture of East and West intermingled. The importance of Kraków as a cultural center of European significance is reinforced by its being home to one of the oldest universities of international renown, the Jagiellonian University. Together, these three built-up areas create a cohesive urban complex in which significant tangible and intangible heritage have survived and are cultivated to this day. Kraków is an urban architectural ensemble of outstanding quality in terms of both its townscape and its individual monuments. The historic center of the town admirably illustrates the process of continuous urban growth from the Middle Ages to the present day. Kraków is the cultural and intellectual center of the country, and deservedly Poland's most popular destination. While Kraków seems made for aimless strolling, those with a smart sightseeing plan are well rewarded. Its historic walls and former moat corral a full range of attractions, wonderful museums, captivating churches that evoke a powerful faith, including many sites relating to Poland's favorite son, St. John Paul II, leafy parks, stirring Jewish heritage sites, and a burgeoning foodie and nightlife scene. The city also makes a good base for a compelling side trip to the most notorious Holocaust site of the Third Reich, Auschwitz-Birkenau. Within its medieval walls, Krakow's Old Town converges on one of the most charismatic squares in Europe, the main market square. Any time of the day, enjoy choosing a cafe and absorbing the gorgeously intact buildings around. Vast as it is, the square has a folksy intimacy. It bustles with street musicians, cotton candy vendors, and the lusty cooes of pigeons. Million Americans trace their roots to Poland. Many of those who visit their ancestral homeland for the first time feel as if they're coming home, from the comfort food their Bizha cooked them to the kindness of distant cousins they encounter. But you don't have to be polished to fall in love with Krakow's vibrant squares, in love with life pedestrian drags, and sophisticated shopping boulevards. With its historic streets, delicious food, and buzzy nightlife, Krakow might well be one of Europe's best hidden gems. For a refresher course on medieval history, explore the charming UNESCO-listed Old Town, which has the largest medieval market square in Europe, Rheinic-Glony, along with the Gothic St. Mary's Basilica and Wall Castle. Then fast forward into modern times with local shops, bars, and a high-energy nightlife in Kazimierz, the city's historic Jewish quarter. Krakow dining is another surprise, offering everything from hearty street food pierogies, kielbasa, and so much more to fine dining and international cuisine. Save time for UNESCO sites farther afield. Auschwitz can be a powerful day trip, while the Wieliczka salt mines is an astounding labyrinth of passages and shafts filled with rock salt statues and underground chapels. Krakow's Old Town is a unique treasury of works of art, historical monuments, and historic buildings, representing almost all architectural styles from the Middle Ages to the present day. For hundreds of years, the main market square has remained the heart of the city. It is the largest town square of medieval Europe, preserved in unchanged form since 1257, and included in the first list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites already in 1978. Additionally, the Cloth Hall, the medieval market hall, located in the middle of the market square, is one of the most recognizable Polish monuments. Apart from the monuments of the Old Town, Kazimierz district, which is an example of a centuries-long coexistence of Christian and Jewish culture, filled with Jewish monuments of global importance, continues to amaze. It is a district of antique and work of art markets, of cozy cafes, restaurants, and pubs where live music. In recent years, the city has seen the emergence of many new communities, with the largest increase in numbers being from Ukraine, Belarus, and from South Asia. Krakow is also a city which devotes particular importance to higher education, with 23 institutions and the second oldest institution of higher education in Central Europe, the Jagiellonian University. Approximately 160,000 students contribute to making Krakow's life diverse and dynamic. The city is also home to over 200 international corporations employing almost 80,000 staff in the IT, services, research and development, business analytics, and finance sectors. The cafes of Old Town were buzzing, and there were buskers singing and juggling in the market square. Bike riders pedaled around the old castle moat, while carriages pulled by horses that looked like huge black and white Dalmatian dogs clattered by. There were gardens and cathedrals to explore and huge platters of kielbasa sausage and beer to taste. And everywhere you looked, there was a fantasy of an old-world city filled with castle towers, sculptures, spires, narrow alleys, elaborate door fronts, flower markets, shops, tourists eating ice cream, locals on roller skates, and in a word, fun.